Podcast community, you're here live. Let me see if I can fix this mic here. You're here live at Kennesaw Grace Town Center, and I want to thank you for being here. We have 10 speakers, 15 talks. Being here helps you grow, helps you learn, helps you meet new people, and build those relationships who are really critical. My first talk is going to be on a concept we call 7-11-4. Now, what does that mean, and why would you even want to consider being a key person of influence? Today's world is changing very rapidly. AI is turning our world upside down, which means trust and relationships and impact are going to be important, because if you don't trust the people you're working with, you're not going to do business with them. So what we talk about 7-11-4, I'm going to give you a philosophy real fast on why you would want to consider being a key person of influence. The 7 stands for 7 hours. The 11 stands for 11 buying signals, and 4 stands for 4 platforms. So when you look at the world today, recently it flipped to global. I mean, not recently, but in the last 10 years. So let's just say, I'm going to give you an example. All right, Alicia's is going to be speaking in a little bit. And so let's just say I run into Alicia at the Publix grocery store, and she has Ace Handyman on her shirt. And I say, man, I used to do business at Ace. What's Ace Handyman? And she tells me, do you know how when there's lots of things to do around the house, those chores you don't like, fixing, doing all the kinds of things that take time, and maybe you don't have the expertise? And I say, yes. Well, I provide certified vented handy people to come in and give you the freedom to spend time with your family and what you enjoy doing. Now, she's built up the curiosity, and I say, do you have a card? And she gives me a card. We go through the line, the conversation's over. She's built my curiosity enough. I'm going to take that card and I'm going to search her online, because I like what she said. Now, if I search her and I find content that keeps my journey going 7 hours, meaning a podcast, a book, maybe videos, different information that gets me a chance to get to know her, like her, and trust her. Because if I'm going to do business with her, I have to do it through your online profile, because anybody can look you up at any time. And if you can't take them on a journey with you, meaning they get to know you by consuming your content, they give buying signals, which a buying signal could be, hey, could you possibly give me a quote on this? Could you give me some referrals? Could you do some things that shows me that I'm interested in doing business with her? When you do that, and it's the 0 moment of truth with Google, it's actually 10.6, but we round it off at 11. Then I see her on 4 different platforms. What do I mean by that? A book's a platform, a podcast is a platform, Spotify is a platform, LinkedIn's a platform. Maybe she does workshops, webinars, whatever it is, different platforms. Takes the brain and it goes to know, like, and trust. Now, why is that important? Because we all have about 150 people that we know, like, and trust. And so Savannah's going to be speaking a little bit. So let's just say there's 100 people out there in a crowd, and I know Savannah. My brain is able to pick her out of a crowd. Our brain works off familiarity, and it will not see the 99 people, but it'll see the one person that you recognize. So when you do that online, your brain just switches, and it happened to me a couple of years ago with Daniel Priestley. So just to encourage you, get the book. key person of influence. Build your profile so people, when they check you out, give them some information to get to know, like, and trust you. Okay, now, I'm already 1 minute over. Okay, our next speaker is a person on the front row. Now, when I met Savannah a couple, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years, I don't even know how many, but it was before podcasting. And I was working with Kenrod Foundation. They provide underserved communities with education. And I was telling Kelly, I said, Kelly, you got to find somebody that is young, that believes like you, and that's maybe part of your organization to take my place. And she came back and said, yeah, I found this girl named Savannah. I said, okay, let's train her. And so she literally, the first time she comes on, and she crushed it. I said to Kelly, you don't need any more training. She knows what to do. And so she supported Kelly and helped her. And we've known each other through the online, I followed her. She's so in line with what she believes. It gives you a chance to tap into your holistic alignment. So Savannah is going to talk on mindset. And so Savannah, the stage is yours.
Wow, I'm blushing, Pete. Thank you so much. What an intro. And thank you everyone for being here today. I really hope that my words can nourish you. That's my goal. I love these events that Pete does. I'm so grateful for this community and grateful to be with you all today. So mindset, yes. And specifically, I want to talk to you all about feeling safe being yourself, authenticity, and really cultivating the mindset to show up in a space like this, to show up online as your authentic self. Because as Pete was saying, we're living in this global world. We're exposing ourselves across all these different platforms, and we're living in a day and age where filters are a thing, AI is a thing. It's kind of hard to tell what's real anymore. So showing up as our authentic self is more important now than ever. But before we can do that, we have to feel safe showing up as our authentic self. And what I mean by that is when you come and stand on this stage, are you acting like what you think people want you to act like, or are you just being yourself? And when we are on a platform speaking in front of people, or just digitally recording a podcast or being a guest on someone's podcast, there's so much that can be going on in our brain. And if we're being a friend to ourselves, or if that inner critic is really the loudest voice in our head at that moment in time, it's going to influence us to not show up authentically. We're going to be operating from a place of fear at that point. And so what I mean by feeling safe within yourself is really about connecting with your body and connecting that brain and body dialogue. Because when we are feeling unsafe, when we're feeling nervous perhaps, our prefrontal cortex in our brain is going to be firing all these different signals, and our defense mechanisms are going to be showing up, and we're going to be operating again from that fear space. So when you're speaking like I am right now, tuning in with your body is going to be key. And when we're doing that, it's about tuning into your heartbeat, tuning into your breath, and then checking that voice in your head. So that way, what's going on up here is translating down your nervous system into your heart space and into your solar plexus. And that is what you are going to be radiating towards your audiences. And when you are radiating that authenticity, you are magnetic. And that is such an exciting thing, because when you're magnetic and you're showing up as you, half the work is done for you, because at that point, you're not trying to prove yourself. You're not trying to get people to like you. You're just showing up, and people can't resist that. Like the people who are meant to consume your products, that are meant to hear your message, that are meant to join your community, are going to flock to you because they can find you now. You're not hiding behind a mask. You're not hiding behind fear anymore, but you are showing up as yourself. And that's a beautiful thing, that not only you are giving to the community that needs to hear your voice in the community that will benefit from your words, but you are also doing a giving thing to yourself. So in this moment in time, I want us to do a little practicing, because I'm all about embodiment and practicing. So in this moment in time, I want you just to close your eyes, just to tune in to your body and just to hear my words. And it's very tempting sometimes to be thinking about what we're going to be doing later in the day, like, I'm thinking about that milkshake I'm going to have later, I'm not going to lie. Or maybe you're thinking about what you were doing yesterday perhaps, so doing something in the past. And when we're time traveling in our brain, we're going from one place to another instead of being in our body, we're not communicating to ourselves that the moment is safe. So just by closing your eyes and bringing your attention inwards to yourself, just noticing, what are you feeling right now? Are you maybe feeling nervous about coming up and speaking next? Or are you maybe feeling hungry? Or are you maybe feeling something heavy emotionally? And that's okay. Just bringing that attention inwards and showing yourself that you matter and that what you are feeling matters, and that you are also safe in this moment, that you can be in this moment. So with that, I just want you to take a nice deep breath, and you can open your eyes again. And just know that whether you're in front of people on a stage or even in the car in traffic or whatever it is, you can always tune into yourself, always be kind to yourself, and use those loving words that you would a friend, and translate that and communicate that to your body by tuning into what it's feeling, and then being the sheriff of your mind and making sure you're not being mean to yourself either. And that's going to translate to confidence and authenticity and a message that deserves to be heard and that people will resonate with. So I hope that gave you some nuggets of wisdom today. Thank you so much for having me again, P. I'm really grateful to be here with you all. And bye for now.
Thank you so much, Savannah. I learn every time I listen. And if you would have told me I would meditate, journal 4 years ago, I would have told you you're crazy. But it's the central part of how I start my day and live it. And it's given that peace that I think is possible because we are so hectic. And thank you so much for sharing, Savannah. We're going to have Savannah back, and she's going to talk about a deeper meditation practice that can help you look at meditation a little bit differently. Now, my next, I just texted him. I don't see him. George, are you in the house? Am I blind? Yes. Oh, he is? Oh, great.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
here.
Well, okay. We're going to bring this gentleman up. You can see, I apologize to my speakers. I am not a detailed person. And I probably failed to tell them it was a live event. So it's minor details. So George, I've known George for quite a few years, and George has a skill set. Like when we talk about dealing with contractors, that is a very difficult thing. I say you're dealing with trying to herd cats on steroids, because contractors have a mind of their own. And Alicia will probably say that too, because a lot of people that she vents had their own business and realized that wasn't what they wanted. It's not easy being in business for yourself. But George has a skill set, because when emergency happens, you got to activate your team. And if you're not a team builder, then you won't have a successful business. So George is going to share some ideas to help you in building a team and being a team player. George?
Good morning, Pete. Nice to see you guys. Sorry I wasn't there with you live. So, the contracting world is interesting. We have a very unique set of guys who are, willing to get up, put clothes on, grab some tools and go fix things for people. We do emergency work, water damage, broken pipes, floods, mold. You find mold in people's basements. They haven't been down there for months and months, and they had a problem they didn't know about. We have abatement teams. So, we have guys who do very specialized cleanup and repairs, and it's it's not glamorous. It's not like putting a kitchen in where people are expecting it and they're excited about it. Our work is, man, something happened. We need someone who knows how to jump in, handle it, and do it quickly, because you don't have till the end of time to fix these things. Our insurance only gives you 1 year to package all this together and complete your project. So with doing this type of work, and I've done all types of construction throughout the years, you have to have a very special team, a special group of guys who are willing to get in and put knee pads on, suits, mask, and tear out moldy sheetrock that's covered in water, contents that are covered. So I spend a lot of time with my guys. And they're all different. They all have different needs. Some of them are married for a long time. Some are single. Not all of them get along together, but I'm the common bond for them. They all enjoy helping others. So, I might take them out to lunch for one day. We might go to a baseball game or go hit golf balls or do something together. And a lot of them I take individually, go spend time with them, because everyone wants to feel special. We're doing things for people who need things. They need us. They're special. Our team is special. So, and you have to understand your team. They all function differently. Some guys want to start at 7. Some guys cannot start till 9 o'clock. It's just their inner clock's not there. So you have to learn how to work with the different personalities. And I do that through, just listening to them. You got to watch your team, see how they function, and put them in the best spot, the best type of work. You can't put a guy who does cleaning and have him go, trying to build a wall. It's not going to happen. So you got to find their best set of skills and put them together. You have to care about people, the empathy part of it. You have to, we're humans. Everyone's human. They want to be treated with dignity and respect. And, I had guys last Saturday. We had a horrible, horrible experience. Lady had to end up in the hospital for 2 weeks. No one took care of her dog. We had to go clean this apartment for them, and they had no problem. They did it for me. I asked them, can you help this person out? It's a Saturday. And they had no problem getting their gear on, cleaning this place out, disinfecting, and doing those things. So, our system is a little funny. I mean, it's, we have to be ready to go. Your van has to be ready at all times, and you have to be willing to change. And, sometimes you have to get different equipment, different times of the week, different times of the night, but you just, prepare them. You talk a lot during the week. You prepare them for what's coming. You don't know what's coming sometimes. You just have to do a lot of communication with your team, and they become your family. I mean, this is your extended family. If their wife is sick, you hear about it. You care about them. You ask about it. They got a flat tire, you help them get it fixed. They're on the side of the road. They call you. You take care of them just like we do our clients. So it's very important. And I think that's it, Pete.
Man, I love it. I'm going to thank you, George. I've always been amazed at his skill set. And when we were talking about it, I said, tell me a little bit about how you were raised. What's your family? And he goes, well, I was raised by sisters. And so when you're around women, you have a different mindset, meaning you have that compassion. You understand things from a different side. I have 2 daughters and 6 granddaughters. So I know, and I can relate to George, that it gives you a skill set that's helpful in business. So George, thank you so much for providing us with teamwork and really how to herd the Cats on steroids. Okay. Now our next speaker, he's a podcaster and a certified high performance coach. Okay. I'm going to introduce myself. So when we look at the world right now, I've always podcast to do two things: build a thriving community, look for somebody I can trust with my life, and somebody that wants to make an impact. And when we look at our speakers today, they all fall into trust and impact. They're making the biggest impact on the universe, and they have that trust factor that you want. When you call somebody to do business with somebody, when you trust them, there's no questions. And so when I look at the future, because of the world's changing, AI, our skills are going to be so important. We give away our 12-session course, which is the framework is the high performance habits. That's clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. Those are the 5 habits. Brendon Burchard has a best-selling book called The High Performance Habits. In that 12 session, when we go into the 7th session, it's mastery, physiology, psychology, physiology, productivity mastery, persuasion mastery, clarity, purpose mastery, and the last one is a mindset of high performance. And when you do that, we were talking earlier about living in the comfort zone. You don't see statues erected for people like, wow, Glenda Hicks, man, she lived in the comfort zone her whole life. It was just a life of comfort. You never see that. She pushes the boundaries. She's impactful. She's out there changing the world. Those are the kind of people you want to hang around. So when we give away this course, we want you to get in the flow of a mindset, to be able to learn the skills for the future. Then once you hit the 7th session, you're invited to be part of live group coaching. Now, what does that mean? It's because when you're in a thriving community of people that think and feel the same way as you do, have purpose in their life, they want to make an impact, they're working on their clarity, their energy, they're working on their purpose. Everybody learns from everybody. So it's 20 people, 10 business leaders, 5 veterans, and 5 youth. So everybody's learning in that, but it's a 12-week guided high performance experience. Now, when somebody wants to move faster, they can hire a certified high performance coach like myself. And we have others available. So if you could share with your community the ability to get a free course, you get use the word podcast, it'll waive the $300 fee. Then once you hit that 7th session, you've worked your way through the 5 high performance habits, it activates a live coaching experience. We want to make an impact. We want to improve the skills. We want to have people that you're hearing from today. We want more that you can make an impact and have the kind of life that's possible, because the magic is in you and anything is possible with the right skills, the right community, and the right people that can help you. Okay, so our next speaker, let me see, I don't have my glasses. Oh, yes. Okay, the next speaker she's on the front row. I've known Wanda for probably, 10, 15 years. She's an author, she's a coach, and she's a legal expert to help guide you through what amounts is a very litigious society. You don't want to go through life without the right people to turn to. And so Wanda has been working, she spoke before, and so I was able to sign her today and get her here. So Wanda, thank you so much for coming back and sharing with us. And she's going to be talking about guiding you through a legal experience. So Wanda, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Pete. Can everybody hear me? Well, I had to bring my notes to keep on track. 5 minutes, right? So I'm Wanda Pearson. I'm actually a speaker, a business strategist, as well as the founder of my brand, WD Pearson Associates, with our legal services. But I'm also a podcaster. So, yes. The Ready, Set, Collaborate podcast. I created that podcast because every entrepreneur needs to have collaboration. And I always say collaboration is the key to success. So what I do is I actually help coach my brand, WD Pearson, is I help coach people who have a passion in starting their business or building their business or successfully. So financially, successfully, and legally. So you want to make sure that you have your information, your stuff in order. With 36 years of experience with IBM, I retired. I said, okay, it's time for me to go. I created my brand, but I legal services as well. I've been in there for 26 years, me and my husband. I like to empower entrepreneurs to launch and grow with confidence. That's my biggest thing here. So our company set you up for coaching, and I'm not sure, am I doing coaching now? I know I had two speaks. Okay. Coaching, and the points I want to make today is actually legal foundation. You want to protect what you build, right? You want to protect that you created that business, but you want to make sure that you're doing it financially and successfully and legally. Because a lot of times people create their business, but is it set up the right way? And you want to make sure you are covered with the law. So that's why I come in, as well as helping you get that set up correctly. So I coach entrepreneurs to properly register their business. A lot of them say, okay, do I do an LLC? Do I do an S Corp? And that's why I actually help you do your brands with your brand and contracts with legally with our services, your legal documents, and also your trademarks. We do a lot of trademarks and corporations. Sorry. My first area is actually to make sure your financial set up, but also my second one is the smart structure that you build. I guide small businesses to set up operational systems like streamlining their services, customer management, and financial tracking. My team and I actually help work you align those business goals and daily actions and accountability strategies. So from day to day, they learn how to work smarter, not harder. A lot of us say, okay, I want to work smarter. I say that every day. I work hard, but I want to work smarter, not harder, because that is something that we do. Being an entrepreneur, we work actually 24/7. Doesn't matter how. Working in corporate, yeah, you got, they tell you what to do, but when you're an entrepreneur, you work harder. When I left IBM, I said, okay, now it's time for me to do my own thing. And that's the blessing of having your own corporation or your business here. So financially, what we want to make sure, because it works for me as far as we use our own money instead of using the business money. So when you're set up correctly, which means your EIN and a banking, you want to make sure you're using that your company's finances, not your own. Okay, that makes a really big difference, because otherwise you get into debt in your own company, personal, instead of in your company there. So I want you to make sure that you got your startup costs in there. I mean, if you're a startup, if you're growing your business, but creating a plan for sustainable growth. We want to make sure we're growing, not going backwards, right? So I connect businesses with trusted resources for funding, grants, and credit strategies. So I focus on building financial confidence and avoiding common money mistakes, which we actually do that as well. So to wrap up, legal protection, business systems, financial preparedness for a foundation for sustainable success. But I want to invite you for personalized guidance. I invite you to work with me through my coaching program at WD Pearson Associates. But I do want to, and I do offer a discovery call, free discovery call, and also a downloadable business setup checklist under my WDPearsonAssociates.com. But what sets me apart is my faith-driven purpose to protection and purpose. As a former social worker, and I forgot to tell you that, I do mentoring. I turn entrepreneur, I blend heart and strategy with a spiritual insight. I don't just offer services. I empower people to build wisely, protect boldly, and live purposely. So my clients just don't survive. They thrive with clarity, confidence, and covered by grace. I have a framework as well, Pete, which is called PACE, which is protection, align, create, and elevate. So if you have PACE, that means when you pace yourself with purpose and protection, you stop chasing success, you start building legacy. So, Wanda Pearson.
Thank you, Wanda. And I failed to say this, but Wanda is in our Kennesaw Happenings magazine. Glenda's in there. And Kimberly, who will be speaking in a little bit, are in the magazine. We'll talk about that another time, but it just dawned on me that 3 people are in the magazine. Okay, our next speaker is a podcaster and a certified high-performance coach. When I heard this about 6 months ago, the 4 human drivers, I started focusing on if these are the 4 human drivers, that would serve me well to really focus on that whole component of what drives us as humans. So many of us, and I see it when I drive out there, they're cutting in and out of traffic. It's like very hectic mindset. And when Savannah talked about that peace that you can have, when you start really getting in touch with your self-awareness, the way that your habits, the things that you're doing on a regular basis, the aliveness starts to kick in. And when you look at aliveness, we only have one life to live on this earth. So why not have that mindset of aliveness? And to get there, one of the things you can do is that connection. We're here today. Some people are sitting at home sleeping, maybe, I don't know, but they're here pouring into you, meeting people, building relationships, making connections. And that is the second driver. The third driver is your meaningful purpose. I love what Wanda said. When she retired, I went to my 40th high school reunion, and everybody would say, "When are you going to retire, Pete?" I said, "Not anytime soon, and I don't want to retire." And here's what I thought was very insightful. When you retire, what they say the best thing to do is repack your bags and do something completely different. Now, Wanda could have continued and been a consultant for IBM. That would have been the same thing over and over again. She knows it with the back of her hand. Or try entrepreneurship, which is the toughest thing you'll ever do in your life. And it resets your brain to learn something new. So that purpose she has now is bringing that awareness to that journey of being an entrepreneur, being prepared. Because if you're not prepared, you're not going to do the best you can. So that purpose, that meaningful purpose, what do we call it? Purpose? Oh, well, meaningful. Oh, it's, there's a word and I don't use it as much. Okay. It's meaningful purpose. Okay. I thought I could see it on the back. So have that vision, have that purpose, have those goals in you, because it drives us. It gives us that aliveness. And then the last of the 4 is growth, personal growth. When we are growing, we're so excited. Glenda and we're part of a Growth Day community. And so every single day I do my 5 to Thrive, which is Brendan Bouchard speaking to me, and another related video, 2 thought-provoking questions to get me to think about things, and then my to-do list for the day. I'm done by 1. That's my philosophy. But I say that because I'm so excited about growth. I've always believed in it, but it's now very intentional. If I want to improve on my public speaking, which I can, and I should, and my organization, I can just go in there and look for what I want to focus on and improve. So whatever you're doing, whether it's a book, a tape, a podcast, attending an event like this, if you have that mindset of personal growth, you're driving the fourth of the human drivers. So my next speaker is going to be here in a minute. He just texted me. So we're going to go to this next speaker. Now, she's in the audience. I was kidding with her before we started. I said, you probably think I'm a stalker, because I've been trying to get her to this event for about a year. And finally, it's a what do you call the persistence that you need to have in business? Finally, she's here. I met her several years ago. She's a community server. She has her own business. She's rocking the world and giving women and entrepreneurs the inspiration that anything is possible. When you look at what she's done, she's president of the Ackworth Business Association. I think she's still president of BNI. You name it, she's doing it. She's making an impact. When you want to make an impact, you're going to look up in the dictionary, and Alicia Tedisco's name is going to be right by the impact. So Alicia, if I haven't embarrassed you enough, I've done a pretty good job, I think. So thank you so much for being, in all seriousness. We appreciate you being here to share.
No, that's not embarrassing. That's fantastic, right? So when I saw the outline that Pete put in, he put impact leadership. And to me, impact leadership is essence, right? It's how you make people feel when you're around them so that they carry that when they leave. So I look at that as serving in a couple of different ways. On my slide, it says serving your company. It says serving the community, and then really taking care of yourself to serve yourself at the same time. So when I talk about serving my company, I think about it in a couple different ways. When we got into business, we did it because we were passionate about something, right? Or we were good at something. I'm a good widget maker, or I'm a good pizza maker. I am not a handy human, right? That was not my passion. That was not my drive. But I knew that there was an impact that we could make in the community to help us serve people in a different way. So that's how we build the business. So when I write down the core values and our vision statement and our mission statement, it's all about service. But it's not necessarily about service, drywall, hanging doors, fixing locks, changing light bulbs. It's more service in how people feel taken care of and looked at. But we don't just serve the community, we serve or the external community. We talk about serving the business community, our neighbors in homes. We also serve our internal community. So part of serving my company has been building employee value propositions. So we have an external value prop. Here's our customer. We have background checks that we put our people through. We know that they're good at what they're going to do before we send them into your home or your business. But how do we serve our people internally? So when I'm going through the interview process and I'm like, would you like to work here? We're great people. Here are the ways that we serve our internal team. And a lot of that is through teamwork, making sure that you have people beside you that can do the things that you're not great at. That's important. But also to lift one another up when we're not feeling great. Hey, it's 90 degrees outside and he just got off of a ladder, right? Let's make sure that he's cared for properly. Part of that leads to how we then turn around and serve the community. If you can serve your people well, then they have no desire to do anything other than to pass that on. They feel well cared for, and then they're gonna go out and they're gonna uphold your mission and your values, because they're not just something that they hear, it's something that we're living in the office, and then they can take that into the community. So now we're serving as an extension of the business by taking good care of our neighbors, taking good care of the community. And what it allows us to do is to think a little bit differently when it comes to, every business owner has been asked to stroke a check, right? Stroke $1,000 check for this. I need some money for this. We'll put a banner on a fence for you. But we serve with our talent. And that serves both the community, because then we can go in and we can fix things in the VFW or the American Legion or in the Women's Battered Shelter. but we can also serve ourselves in that same way because the guys feel good about what they're doing. They feel good by using their talent. They're getting paid. It's just like a regular job to them, but they're really able to commit to something. And so we'll sit down and say, hey, what do you want to do? Who do you want to serve? Do you want to work at a recovery center? Do you want to work at a women's battered shelter? And that's how we're going to serve the community using your talents, and it becomes a full circle. The one thing that I'm not very good at, admittedly, but it goes to that chaos, the spaghetti of everything that becomes a distraction in our business, is serving myself, right? So this morning I knew I was coming. When my alarm went off at 6:30, I thought it is Saturday, sleep in. But to serve myself well, I know I have to get out and exercise. I know I have to eat right. I know I have to do the things that are going to help me have clarity so that when I'm able to get in front of people, get in front of my team, get in front of my community, I can do that in a way where I know I'm at peace. I seek that peace, right? But I do it through exercise and self-care. And so I think a lot of times we get caught up in business. We lose that passion, that thing that we get involved in. I call it getting caught up in the drywall. And I think that sometimes the toilet broke, or we have an HR issue or an upset customer. And so we lose that purpose and that drive and that focus of everything that really brought us into it in the first place. And so it's really easy to put ourselves on the back burner and lose that passion. So I try to always encourage us as a team, get out of the drywall and get into the community and get into the right mindset so that we know that we're serving them well. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Alicia, for sharing those valuable words with our community. We appreciate you. Our next speaker is, we met at the American Legion, and right after Phil, Glenda is going to be on, so I want you to stay put and not be aware that you're going to be impacted by both speakers. But Phil, just to give you a tiny bit of background, we sat together and the conversation turned to podcasting, and I had my name tag on, and it started a relationship. And when you can just meet somebody and you kind of think through that conversation, you're like kindred spirits. And I kind of know why. Phil has had a successful career in corporate America, and he's built it on relationships, because relationships matter. And they matter because we went through a crazy time with COVID where everybody was kind of disconnected. And now it's even more important to build those relationships, to be eyeball to eyeball with people. If I'm not laughing when I'm talking with Phil, he's entertaining me in a unique way because he has that special talent of really connecting with people. So Phil, if you wouldn't mind coming up, relationships matter. Phil Brannon will share some insights of his journey in corporate America.
Well, after that, I'm going to do my Bill Belichick routine, just mumble. You hit the nail on the head, Alicia. She said something that was just so simple but so profound. If you take care of your people, they're going to take care of your clients. And it's so simple, but you see companies that just don't do that. I know that's not really the script today, but I thought that was, yeah. I mean, that's, how many times have you heard, somebody that, gets done with their job review, their performance review, and their boss says, we just don't have the money to pay you. And you're like, man, I knocked it out of the park. And then you find out later, he just got through renovating his beach house, or, take care of your people, business owners. If you take care of them, I don't believe in you treat everybody the same. I'm sorry, you treat everybody the way they deserve to be treated, frankly. And if you don't take care of your A players, they'll be an A player for somebody else. And the way things are now, it's very fluid. A lot of movement out there in the marketplace. A very talented young person just left the company I work for now, and I'm kind of filling up her little vacuum, and it's amazing. You find out what you got when it's gone, and you don't want to find that out when it's too late. But anyway, enough about that. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday, and just like Alicia said, I wanted to roll over and play dead this morning too, but ended up hosting a small group at my house, and then I just get your adrenaline going, and that's what I think it speaks to a lot of what we as entrepreneurs have to do. You have to obviously take care of yourself. And she does a lot better job of that than I am right now, but I'm working on it. A lot of times you go to the pool and you see these people that are, the husband's off in the seminar and the wives are out there and they all take care of their bodies. And the husband comes out there and he won't take his shirt off because he's ashamed of his body. So I was one of those people a few years ago. So it's a constant battle. When you're an entrepreneur, you always take care of yourself last. Sometimes you need to take care of yourself first. That also will help you take care of your people. And that's part of leadership as well. Monkey see, monkey do. If they see somebody out there telling them about, giving the extra mile and, then he's 400 pounds. It's kind of hard to sell that to a lot of people if you're not living it yourself. So self-care is huge. Taking care of your people is huge. And also being able to relate to people. Pete referred to when we met, we were just chatting. I didn't know Pete at the time, and he was kind of turned away from me, and he had his name tag over here, and it said Podcast Pete. So as we were chatting, I said, "You ever listen to podcasts?" And the guy that was on the other side of him was with him, started just about to roll over, and Pete turned his real subtly like that, not to embarrass me, and I went, "Okay, so we're talking to a professional here." So we just started talking about different podcasts that we both listen to and we get into, and then that's what led to our friendship, relationship, and it's sometimes the simplest things you can find in life. You never know when you're going to meet somebody you're going to connect with. So I'm going to do what Don Henley said one time: be nice to everybody on the way up. You'll see them again on the way back down. And I know it's only 2 minutes, but that's all I got today, man. I'm on a short leash. You're going to catch up if you're behind me. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. I love having conversations with Phil because we'll talk about his business journey and mentoring some of the younger people that are coming into his company and really putting that focus on building those relationships, which are so important to business. Our next speaker, I've known Glenda for online probably 10, 12 years, but I had her on my podcast, and I actually was seeking her out because she was putting a focus and an impact on our nonprofit community. And when I learned about her gamifying learning, it just kind of ignited a whole mindset change. If you can gamify learning and you can train your leadership to not only have fun together, build relationships, but learn how to make bigger impact on your nonprofit community, because as you're going to hear, nonprofits are building thriving communities. And if our nonprofits have the right leadership, the right focus, the right clarity, they're going to make a big impact in the community. So Glenda devotes her life to impacting nonprofits, a very absolutely necessary part of our world. So Glenda, would you mind please coming up and sharing with our community the focus on leadership with our nonprofit community?
Good morning, and thank you, Pete. It's so good to be with you again today. Yes, I do serve nonprofit organizations in the community at large, and the end goal is to create thriving communities. So Pete gave you a little teaser about the gamification work that I do, and I'll speak to that in my second speech. But right now, I want to focus on the leadership aspect, which leads to the need for that game. A lot of you in the audience and online have aspirations to be leaders in the community or to be leaders of your own business. And my aha for you today is that you're likely already doing it if you're serving on the board of directors of a not-for-profit organization. We don't really think about them as businesses or companies because they're doing such social-driven work. But it is an organization, it is a business, and they lead great minds to send them into the future on the right direction. So some of you may be familiar, more so in the for-profit sector, but he also has a huge footprint in the nonprofit sector, and that is Jim Collins. He's a renowned consultant, trainer, author, speaker in the space of business management and sustainability and growth. But one of the things he says is you've got to get the right people in the right seats at the right time. And we use that a lot in the nonprofit space when it comes to identifying board members. We're looking for that right skill set with the individual who has the time, the talent, the treasure, the mindset, the ability, the connection to contribute to that organization's future. And so when you aspire to serve on a nonprofit, there's 3 things I wanted to touch on today: research, preparation, and commitment. Contributing your talents, your gifts. And from a research perspective, the organization has already done its research, ideally, to identify what do they need for that next 3 to 5 years as they journey in their life cycle. And you're likely the person they want to serve. But have you done your research, both externally and internally? Have you looked at the organizations to see who's serving the cause that really matters to you? That is something that you're passionate about. That's something many of the speakers have mentioned today in terms of their passion. Who are you willing to commit your time to and serve them in the same way, with the same ability and same perspective that you do with your day job? A lot of times I work with organizations who come to me for assistance because their board members haven't connected the dots on the fact that this is an opportunity to really set the course for an organization that's making a difference in the community. And you're making existential decisions. And right now is a perfect example with what's happening in our nation, with a lot of changes coming down the pike from different perspectives. And organizations are having to make really hard decisions about where they're drawing their funding. Who are they serving? How are they serving? What language are they using to serve those folks? And they need their board members to bring their talent, to bring their ability to work together as a team where they respect those skill sets and one another, and they show up. A couple of you already mentioned about the alarm clock going off at 6:30 in the morning, and I felt the same way today. But I made a commitment, and I told Pete I was going to be here today. And I can't just dismiss it because I'm not getting paid to do it. It's something that I committed to do. So you need to do your research both on the organization and what you can bring to the table to help them move forward. The second thing is to prepare. What do you know about serving on the board? Do you know what's expected of you? And if you know what's expected, do you know how to fulfill that and deliver on that commitment? If you don't, then you should seek training, and you should seek classes either online or in person that can show you how to fulfill those responsibilities, just as you would to prepare for going to work, finding a new job, or starting your own business. And then the last thing is to contribute that to the organization. Get engaged in the conversation. Show up to the meeting. Connect it to people that they would not otherwise know or have a connection or relationship with had it not been for you serving on their board. Contribute what you have as your gifts and your talents and your perspective so that they can thrive and lift everyone up in the community. And so if you aspire to be a leader, 9 cases out of 10, if you're serving on a board, you're already leading, and you're leading a company, a corporation, multi-billion-dollar not-for-profits who are serving millions of people and pouring billions of dollars into our economy because of the work they do, not just because of the people they serve, but the people they employ, the people they empower, the people they train, and the people that work for them and come to them for services. So rethink what leadership aspiration looks like and means to you, and make a real concerted effort to connect with a nonprofit in your community that has a mission statement that resonates with your passion. Thank you so much. Appreciate you too, Pete. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenda. Glenda is the speaker I want to be, because she's precise. She chooses her words. Every word kind of has an impact. And it's that beauty that you see somebody that has been working on her trade and how good you can be in front of a group of people. So thank you, Glenda. I appreciate you. Our next speaker, Kevin, is George online? Yeah. Okay. So George will be with us. And the topic with George is really, when you're dealing with people, you got to know your audience, and you have to know who makes the decisions. And in his case, with emergencies and water, just the things that come up, a lot of times the woman of the house takes the reins on this, just because they're better at doing things than we are. And so if you're not aware of how you have to communicate, then you're not going to make the biggest impact on your clients that's possible. And George has developed a skill set to really connect, and he wants to share with his business, how do we connect and how do we relate and how can we do better with a focus of our women over 60 in business, and what would be the best way we can learn from George. Thank you, George.
Man, you guys are incredible. What a great audience, what a great team of speakers. It's fun listening to you. And so, you know, we're in people's houses and, you know, commercial buildings, houses every day. A lot of the times it's older women, and you know, you can't come in. You could be a big, strong man and walk into the room, but if you're being rude or dominating or not listening to these women or making them feel uncomfortable, you're not going to get the business. They like the strength that we bring, the knowledge, fighting for them, but you got to do it with gentleness, tender, caring. You know, like I told Pete, I grew up with 2 older sisters, a little baby sister. All my cousins around were girls. I mean, if you weren't gentle and kind, you were beaten to being that way. You know, they teach you, you know, there's a certain way to behave around women and be respectful, and you could still be strong and be masculine, but you have to show respect. Yesterday, we went to a property yesterday. The lady lost her husband a year ago. She's in her late 60s. She's had 3 other contractors come to work on her house, and she didn't feel comfortable with them. She felt like they were trying to take advantage of her right from the beginning. I showed up, I walked around, you know, she has a lot of damage to her property. And, you know, I just assured her, you know, I listened to her, I listened to her story, what happened to her. And, you know, I care about her. I'm going to help her fix her problem as much as I can. I'm not there to take advantage of her. We all make money in business. It's not why we're doing it. We do it to help the community, to provide service. We provide work for our employees, provide service for the clients. And, you know, at the end of it, she hugged me and she was very grateful. You know, she was grateful that I'm going to get a team together and help her, you know, fix her situation. And she was embarrassed about it. She felt bad that she had a house sitting there and she let it go for so long. But, you know, she was depressed. Her husband passed. She didn't have someone there to support her. And, you know, I didn't make her feel bad. I just told her, we'll take care of this. We're going to make your life better and make your house better. So, you know, one thing is to be genuine. If you don't care about people, it's going to show. If you care, be genuine, smile. And if someone needs a hug, give it to them. Pete, that's my advice on that.
As I was listening to that George speak, trust just amplifies out there. We as business owners, and I know the speakers today, the trust that they have in the community, the impact that they make in the community is something that we all want to strive for. And so when you're looking for individuals to do business with, look at the speakers you've heard from today. And I can tell you by just the way they handle themselves, the way they build their business, they built trust in the community. And so thank you so much, George, for that.
Thank you, Pete.
Our next speaker, she was with us for a few minutes, and then right after her, we're going to bring on the amazing Kimberly Haas. So Kimberly, get ready. But Savannah, when we have talked we've done a number of podcasts, and she brought up a mindset that really works on that meditation. And so when I wanted Savannah to really bring to you a different thought process when it comes to really self-care and meditation. So Savannah, would you mind please coming back on the stage and sharing with our community the ideas of how you live your life and how we can learn from you. Okay.
All right, did you miss me? I'm back. Well, first, I'm very excited to be sharing about this topic. It's one that I'm very passionate about, but I've been hearing a very common thread between all the speakers today about the importance of taking care of yourself, because that business is not going to be doing anything if you are falling apart at the seams. Believe me, I've been there. I've experienced insane burnout. So my mindfulness practice and my perspective on mindfulness and meditation is one that is, I practice it. You got to practice what you preach. And it's something that, again, I'm very passionate about. So before we dive into meditation, I want you to kind of think about what beliefs you might be holding around meditation and mindfulness if you're familiar with those concepts. Because I like to start with doing a little myth busting, because as much as I love just taking time to be and to truly meditate in maybe like the classic or traditional sense of sitting and maybe it's cross-legged and just letting all the thoughts come out of my brain, that is fine. That is great. That's a wonderful practice. It also does not have to be your practice. So what I mean by myth busting is that I want you to understand that when we're being mindful, when again, we're not time traveling from the past or the present, or sorry, the future, then that is when we are truly being mindful. It's when we are allowing ourselves to be nourished by this moment and to be present in the moment and to absorb all the beautiful things that are available to us in this moment in time, instead of seeking that or wishing things were different or maybe ruminating on stuff from the past. When we're being mindful, we are truly giving ourselves the gift of the present. So when it comes down to meditation specifically, again, it can be you just sitting there and allowing your thoughts to clear out of your mind and allowing yourself just to sit in silence. That can be really great for your nervous system. But also, I want you to think about, and you might be surprised, that there are many moments throughout our day where we are meditating and you might not even know it. So maybe you're in a flow state. So I know for me, when I'm gardening and I'm just feeling the soil on my hands and I'm being really tender with the plants and I'm like just feeling the sun shining on me and just really absorbing and being nourished by all the things available to me in that moment, that is meditation. Or maybe you are really into model building. Model building is something that takes a ton of focus and it takes a ton of attention to detail. And so when you're really paying attention to those little bitty pieces or just really immersed in what you're doing, that's another form of meditation. Again, your brain isn't thinking about the past. It's not thinking about the milkshake. You are fully here in this moment and you're giving yourself that, just the richness that the moment has available to you. So going back to some of what the speakers have been sharing today about that self-care aspect, one of the key pieces of self-care and of mindfulness is really just about redirecting where your energy is going. Because when you are giving to your employees, to your family, to your community, or even just to those who you interact with on the day-to-day basis, you are giving them your time, your attention, your emotion, your thoughts, like the space in your brain, and all of that is energy. Your energy is going outwards. And so when we're practicing mindfulness and taking that time for ourselves, we're just flipping that back around. We're allowing our energy to be on ourselves and to allow us to take a break from giving. And it doesn't make us selfish at all when we're taking those moments for ourselves. It's actually quite the opposite, because again, the business cannot run if you are running on fumes. So really, when you're taking that time for yourself, you are truly being selfless because you are filling up your cup. You are getting reconnected to your why. You are getting reconnected to your heart space and operating from that place and showing up in those moments as your recharged self, as your replenished self. And then you have more to give, and you're not giving from a place of lack or giving from a place of obligation, which can sometimes be breeding or can just breed other feelings, maybe like resentment or just stress, and that can really build up. But when you take that time to do what you need to do for yourself and to, again, flip that energy around and bring it inwards on what you care about, on what you need, and about what nourishes you, and give your brain a break, it's so potent, it's so powerful, and you deserve it. So I'm really grateful I got to speak with you all today. Thank you for listening to me a couple times. You can connect with me online. My social media handle is at the Savannah Rose, or _Savannah Rose. And my website is eclipseevolution.com. But thank you so much for being here with me today and for listening. And thank you, Pete. I really appreciate it. Yay. Thank you.
As I was listening to Savannah, I've thought this before. My oldest is the compassionate, loving, caring daughter, and my youngest is the ambitious go-getter. Savannah is the combination of both my daughters, and it's beautiful to see that somebody embraces both those skills and those I don't know what you'd say, that personality, that character. So thank you, Savannah. And if you would have told me, I mean, meditation is one of those things, when you start to practice it, it opens up a whole new world. And I always avoided it because I had the active brain, ADHD, and that was not something I ever thought I could do in my life. But Savannah has helped when I watch and I see, and she's been on my podcast, and we've had conversations about that. So thank you so much, Savannah. Okay, our next speaker, I met Kimberly. We're in Rotary together. So is Alicia. And Rotary is an organization that impacts the community. And when I first met Kimberly, I mean, it was like I had met a person I've known for 10 years. And she was so friendly, so outgoing, so connecting. And I remember asking her, I said, so how many years have you been in Rotary? And she said, try months, like a couple months. I said, what? You know everybody in here. You just give off that wonderful personality that's so important. I had the pleasure of hiring Kimberly, and I got a chance to know her better, of how she's serving, the impact she's making. And she's doing that with her business. So I wanted her to come and share with you the heart to serve and give us some ideas on how we can apply that in our life and our business. So Kimberly, please come on down.
Thank you so much. Let me bring this mic down just a little bit because I'm a little short. Good morning, everyone. Whether you're here in person or joining online, I'm so grateful we could gather in this space together. To come to my online viewers, if you're turning in virtually, feel free to comment and share how you're serving in your community. We'd love to hear from you. As Pete has stated, my name is Kimberly Hawes, and I'm a community advocate, cultural connector, and someone deeply committed to fostering inclusive, impactful service. Today, I want to talk about what it means to serve from the heart and how to stay grounded in that posture. I am a mother, I am a daughter, I am a granddaughter, I am a friend, and I am an undiscovered comedian. I am an advocate and strategic facilitator for organizations like Ackworth Cultural Arts and Theater Company. I am a coordinator of community engagement programs like Generation Connect and Juneteenth events. I am a business owner of I Love Care, which is a concierge service for active aging adults. We were established in 2013, and we aging adults age in place. I am a champion for senior tech literacy and youth empowerment, and I am through constructive education. My passion for service led me to run for Ackworth City Council. I was also recognized as a Rotarian of the Year by my peers for 2025 and 2026. I also serve as the liaison of Ackworth Police Department. Over the years in service, I've come to understand the importance of checking my heart, recognizing not only my intentions, but also the impact they may have on those around me. I recognize, one, check the health of your heart. Ask yourself, are you serving to uplift or for validation? Serve for the heart involve sacrifice. Be willing to give without expecting anything in return. Although I did not win in the city council seat, it revealed my deepest why. Service rooted in balance and humility was my reasoning. Another moment I had to take that this was a service of my heart. Point two, serve the heart with balance. Service must be sustainable, not at a cost of your own well-being. It's unhealthy to keep giving and giving and giving, as we have stated. And you start seeing the signs of people pleasing, neglecting your family, and even your self-care. After my race, I found my meaningful lane in Rotary. My role as a police liaison allowed me to give back organically. Being honored as a Rotarian of the Year proved my service was welcomed and impactful. A heart overstrained cannot sustain meaningful service. Service with what you have now, your time, your talent, and your treasure. Serve where you are welcomed to help keep your heart healthy. Point two, rest in service. Serving isn't all motion, it's also reflection, renewal, and trust. Balancing your serving heart with rest allows you to remain aligned with the why behind your service. Reflection keeps your heart aligned with its purpose. In closing, serving the heart, it is a heartbeat. You have to check its rhythm, the pace it with balance, and sometimes let it rest. So I asked you, when will you serve with the heart? What is your heart calling you to serve today? Start there and serve well. My name is Kimberly Haas, and you can follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. You know, little details slip my mind, but you know, to be Rotarian of the Year, recognized by your peers, is an incredible achievement. And I just want to publicly say thank you, Kimberly, for doing that. And we appreciate you putting your heart out there and sharing with us. And we can see how important when you serve and the impact that you make. And Kimberly is definitely making that impact. So thank you so much, Kimberly. Our next two speakers are coming up, but not together, but But I just wanted to, it dawned on me when I was listening to Kimberly. I'm a recovering people pleaser. And I struggled for many, many years with that. I work on it every single day. And it reminds me when Kimberly talks about serving your heart, your own heart, that self-awareness, setting those boundaries. And so it's so important, because if you're always pouring out, and I like the analogy when you're on a plane and the oxygen mask drops, they say, put it on yourself first before you put it on the person beside you. If you don't learn to serve your heart, then it's putting that action mask on the person beside you, and you're going to struggle. You'll probably suffocate too. So thank you so much, Kimberly, for sharing with that. Our next speaker, Wanda, I love when she says the collaboration and to reset and do something completely different. I'm amazed when people do that, because all my friends, so I had a friend in my high school, and I said, well, what are you going to do now you're retired? He says, well, he told me he was a CFO of a company. He goes, if I leave and I don't do anything consulting wise, they're going to forget about me. And I said to him, do something completely different, because it challenges us to learn new things. And it's so important to follow Wanda Pearson and do something completely different. So if you're getting ready to retire out there, and that's my age group, find something completely different, challenge yourself. So Wanda, if you wouldn't mind coming up, love letters to your loved ones and creating legacy and really being aware of the importance of doing these things are what I want Wanda to share with you, and how you can prepare yourself and your family for the future.
Yeah, this is dear to my heart. Just, when I retired, what I said I was going to do, because I didn't have the age. I'm going to go to Walmart and I'm going to say, welcome to Walmart. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. But God had a different reason for me to do what I'm doing now. I went to go visit I'm from Chicago, went to visit my father. He was in the nursing home with dementia. Well, thank God we had his will together, and he decided he wanted to be cremated. And that was something that my brother, thank God he had changed it, to put that in there. But I saw him in that nursing home, and I said, I can't just sit around and not do anything. So this is when I actually got out in the community, joined BNI, learned how to network, and did what I was passionate about, which means getting in the community, doing my social work. I do mentoring at the middle schools as well. And I wanted to make sure that I was out there advocating for people. And I created, I should have actually bonded this here, the legal love letter. I said it years ago, all of a sudden it started coming. I said, why not put that as a trademark for myself? But this is something that is dear to me, because a lot of people don't have that together. So my title is Protecting Your Legacy Starts Today, The Power of a Will and a Legal Love Letter. So let me ask you something. What happens if you don't have a will? You die without a will. Do you want it to go to the state? No. That's something we work so hard for. We work hard to be able to build our legacy, to give to our family, to our friends, not friends, to our family and to our loved ones. So did you know that would you die without a will? Not your family, but who decides to get everything I said about the state, right? No control. Without a will, your estate goes through probate, and we do not want it to go through probate, because that would stay in there for years. And the court decides who will receive your assets, even guardians for minor children. Family conflict. I used to, when I first started by networking, I used to have a sign where there's a will, there's 500 relatives. Uncle Sam, Uncle John, people you never heard of, right? They come out of the woodworks. So I always said that, but yeah, you don't want that to go to them. You want it to go to somebody who would follow your passion. So, and you want to make sure that the court doesn't choose what assets, even guardians for minor children. You have children, you want to make sure that your children are taken care of. You want to make sure your children go to the correct person that you trust. Also, your business is at risk. If you're a business owner, your hard work it unravels without clear instructions. So making sure your instructions are in that will, because when you have a business, you want to make sure your business is in that will. That is so important, because you work too hard to create your business. Make sure that's in your will, and you have someone that's going to carry out your wishes here. So don't leave your family in the dark. Give them clarity, not confusion. Number 2, the key benefits of having a will. And I meant to tell you that, you know how many people don't have a will today? 60 to 70%. It could be more that don't have a will. I mean, you look at some of the famous people that died, don't have a will. I just actually, God, it seems like every week I'm losing some. I just actually lost my cousin yesterday. Her brother, last brother on earth, and of course he didn't have a will. You don't know when things are going to happen. There's no age limit as far as what's going to happen to you. So when I start talking about this at networking, people say, I'm not going to die soon. Well, COVID happened. You just never know. So this is something that's dear to my heart that I want to make sure that everybody's protected. And the good thing about it is with our services, it's included in there, which is a $1,400 value, along with the other benefits you get. So protect your loved ones. You can appoint guardians for your children and make sure your vulnerable family members are cared for. Speed up the process. A will can shorten probate time and save legal costs. Business continuity clearly outlines who run or receive your business if you pass away. Having a will isn't just paperwork, it's peace of mind. And that has always been my thing, peace of mind. Having peace of mind is so important. Why having a legal love letter is important? Well, it's important because it's a document that provides detailed, compassionate instructions for your family beyond as far as the legal system. Protect both your family and business, helps your loved ones manage your personal affairs and business without confusion. I'm rushing because my time is going here. Legacy with purpose is your final love letter, a roadmap that shows your care and commitment even after you're gone. So my call out is the will handles the legal, but a legal love letter speaks from your heart. So legacy is not what you leave for people, it's what you leave in them. Let your final gift by clarity, love, and protection. If you don't have a will today, it's a perfect time to change that. So contact me and let's talk. And I always talk about collaboration. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk about how we can protect your love letter as well as your business. So tomorrow's not promised to you. You never know when it's going to happen. Wanda Pearson, and my brand is WD Pearson Associates. You can look me up on wdpearsonassociates.com or wanda@wdpearsonassociates to set up a call with me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wanda. I recently had within the last 6 months, two related family members kind of related, that didn't communicate what their wishes were. Not only not having a will, but communicate with your kids. Let them know what's going on, because when you're gone, you can't do that. And it creates rift if you're not communicating with your loved ones, your intentions when you're no longer here. Kevin, thank you so much, Wanda. Is Jay online? No? Okay. All right, our next speaker is the amazing Glenda Hicks. And Glenda is going to come back and share with us really the impact specifically that she's making with nonprofits and the gamifying. So Glenda, please come on back and share with our community the impact you're making on nonprofits and thriving communities.
Thank you, Pete. So there's a model out there that talks about the percentages of information that we retain through different ways that it's delivered. And this model suggests that if someone just lectures to you, you retain 5%. If you read it, you retain 10%. If you engage in audiovisual, it's 20%. But if you physically and actively experience something, it shoots up to 75%. And then if you're asked to teach that to someone else pretty quickly, pretty soon thereafter, it's 90% retention. Now, I can't say that I necessarily had that model in mind when I created the board game, but learning it in the process and learning more about it afterward surely validated what I thought was an opportunity to help organizations strengthen what they do. And that was to create an experiential learning board game that teaches you how to effectively fulfill your roles and responsibilities as a board member, but also when it's used with staff, it helps them to understand how everything is interdependent in the organization. And that's true in for-profit businesses as well. A lot of times employees work in silos and they just focus on their one area. And if they don't follow some policy or practice or procedure, they don't realize the implication it has on another department in the organization and therefore the entire organization in total. But I grew up loving to play board games, and I always lost, but that still didn't deter me from enjoying the activity. And I felt like rather than simply teaching, talking, lecturing at clients and consulting and advising in different ways, if they could engage in experiences, they could connect the dots more effectively. And this is true across enterprise and economy and business in general, because you see a lot of Fortune 500 companies and the like engaging consultants to lead their companies through simulations. And a lot of those simulations are online, they're electronically driven, but many of them are also physically present endeavors, and they require a facilitator. And so I recognize that a lot of my clients struggle with challenges, as do all businesses. And with those challenges, they're looking for certain results. Those results are better performance, accountability, achievement of different metrics and goals that are in their strategic plan. They're looking for dollars and sponsors and employees, just anything and everything you can think of, they are seeking as well. And they want those results. And that result ultimately is the impact in the community. But from that, they need a solution. And so my solution for them was 501c Impact, which is also the name of my company, but it's the nonprofit board governance game. And it gives leaders an opportunity to compete and to do a little trash talking in the process and trying to win the game. And a lot of times it comes down to just wanting to win. And I have to remind them there's purpose here, but it allows them to see the impact, to experience the implications of your decision making. And that's what these businesses are looking for when they hire organizations to come and run simulations with their leaders and with their employees. They want them to play in a test and safe environment. What would happen if we made this decision or that decision, or we made this investment, or we didn't do those things? What does it look like? And it's really exciting to watch these teams compete against each other and to learn in the process and to modify their decisions based on when the pauses that they have to reflect and to see how did the decisions they made in the previous move or round play out for them, and where do they need to make adjustments. So when you're looking to empower your teams, to elevate their performance, to find solutions, to increase that leadership capacity, it's really helpful when you can create a fun, engaging learning environment that allows them to test, innovate, experiment, and not experience a real consequence that could cost the organization in many ways, whether it's financially, whether it's reputational risk, or even a loss of customers or damage to the clients that they serve in the terms of not-for-profit organizations. So my organization is 501c Impact. You can follow me on LinkedIn, or find me rather on LinkedIn. I don't do much following, still trying to amp up to that, but that's where my innovative younger staff come into play. And I am on LinkedIn. My website is 501c Impact. And where else am I? I guess Facebook. And you'll see the game as well, and can consider incorporating it into your organization. Thank you, Pete.
Awesome.
Always a pleasure. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Linda. When I was going through 49 days of rehab, and 39 of them were at Shepherd, the number one thing I loved and appreciated was my games. And games are that connecting, they teach you that learning experience it's continued with me. I do it with my granddaughters, and it's just something about learning and gaming. It's a wonderful thing. And if you can incorporate that into your nonprofit, you're going to have a more vibrant community. I want to give a little plug as we wind down here. Behind the scenes, there's always people behind the scenes in your company that they're not the front people, but they're behind the scenes making it happen. And Kevin Bora is back in the back there in the AV, and he's making it happen. So let's give Kevin a big hand. And what is so cool, we use StreamYard as one of and then we integrate it with the AV. So if you're out there and you need help with integrating things like StreamYard with your AV system, we'll put a link in the event since he's not one of the speakers, so you can get a hold of him behind the scenes. He's going to make it happen. And then there's another gentleman up there who's a musician, and he's in my men's group. Caleb is shadowing Kevin, so when Kevin can't do it, we have a backup, because we always need a backup, because you just never know. And I want to give a shout out to Grace Church here in Kennesaw. When I was going through a major mass transition, whatever you want to call it, this community, Grace Church, was my family. They just, all right, where's my comedian? Where's Phil? Okay. They were there to embrace and connect. And so I'm here every Sunday. So if you're looking for a community and you're trying to navigate through life by yourself, which isn't a good plan, join a thriving community. Be a part of a community. You've heard a lot about community today, but Grace Church here at Town Center is a wonderful place. And David Black is our pastor, and our community here is just phenomenal. Diverse, young, old. It's got everybody you can possibly imagine. So that's on Sunday morning at 10:30. So I want to thank everybody for being here, and then put on your calendar. And I want to especially thank Savannah, because she sent me a text. She goes, well, can I promote this event on my social media? And I was like, yes, good idea. Then we put a flyer together. So thanks so much, Savannah. We want to do some more letting the community know about the event. So August, it's always the fourth Saturday, and it'll be the 23rd of August. We'll be back here. We do a virtual event the week before, so we have our speakers do it online, and then we bring in a live event. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning and sharing with our community with your valuable insights and skills that you have and impacting the community and the world that we live in. Thank you.